Well, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just get this thing down a bit. Yeah, that's it. Well, good evening, and welcome. And yes, it will be in a good way. I want to thank you so much for joining me this evening on Saturday night, Talking Sip in the UK here. Today is the 12th of the 10th, 2024. And I always ask the question like, what is it that you are drinking today? What are you drinking? What are you drinking on Instagram? What are you drinking on YouTube? What are you drinking on Facebook? But for me, I'm gonna have sugar. Just have a little red wine. I'm not gonna open the other bottle. Just just a little dash. Just a little dash, and this may even last me for the rest of the evening. Um, and of course, I always like the sparkling water. Having some sparkling water at the same time. Um, it is good to have juices. If those can make juices, it's good to make juices and these concoctions. When I'm in Jamaica, I always say the bartenders will always create live restricted for some audiences. I don't know what that is. Mm. I guess TikTok may not like when I mention about alcohol or so, but just a little twist of it. But like when I'm in Jamaica, there's always the different bartenders that they will create these different concoction and they'll say, call it straight out of yard. Yeah, welcome to Jamaica or welcome or so. That's what they will sort of create these different drinks or so. So for those on Instagram, those on Facebook, and for those on YouTube, I want to say welcome. Faith Walker, Wilson Wheels, on Instagram as well, and YouTube. Thank you so much for joining. Well, tonight, one of the things that I'm going to talk about tonight is about the independence of the Black mind, and I'll touch base onto that later on. Let me see. I'll be talking about the constitutional change and democratic nationalism. There's a discussion they're going to have tomorrow, Sunday, October the 13th. I'm going to have Mr. Carlos, who is going to be speaking tonight. He's going to come on about 5:15, which is Jamaica time, of course, just in an hour time as well. And I want to see what's going to come on. I'm going to touch a bit on the IC report regarding Michael Phillips, who says subject of IC report, which sent to Parliament, and also something which is very interesting as well. Something about Jamaican teachers in the UK apparently are paid lower than their colleague here in the UK. So that is something which is very interesting. And why it's very interesting to me is because some years ago, I was involved with the qualified teacher status, whereby Jamaican teachers were able to, and Caribbean teachers from the Commonwealth, there were some issues regarding their status, qualified teacher status. And we did some sort of lobbying with my organization, Facilities for Better Jamaica. And it seemed like things are brewing. And I believe that sometimes when we allow things to simmer and slide, it just slides away. And yet at the same time, there are more Jamaicans which are coming to the UK, more people from the Caribbean which are coming to the UK in areas of nursing, in the area of teaching, and also you wonder the level of support they have at the same time. But sometimes people make the comparison and say, well, it's better than yard, at the same time, but it's not fair. And there's parity and there's equality and there's discrimination issues that one can actually touch base on in the UK. So those are the things that I'm going to talk about later and try to keep it very sweet as well. And I want to say that tomorrow night, I'm going to be having Mr. Anthony Francis at 8 p.m. UK time, Black History, where we are now, evolution of Black history, music, film, and politics. Sunday, the 13th of October, 2024. Going to have that discussion tomorrow because trying to keep that whole Black history element in place. Okay, so let's just start the show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the independence of the black mind, that's the topic for tonight, and that's the main gist of the topic for tonight. I say the main gist. That is like the springboard where one will sort of emanate from, where one shall launch from, if anything. And that's one of the cue. The independence of the black mind. And the question is, how relevant is that today? How relevant is that today? You know, the concept of mental and intellectual freedom has always been essential to the Black struggle for liberation and self determination. From the days of slavery through the civil rights movements to contemporary challenges, the battle has extended beyond physical change to the chains of the mind. Physical change, chains to the chains of the mind, the independence of the Black mind. Speak to the pursuit of psychological, cultural, and intellectual freedom, an escape from colonial, Eurocentric, and oppressive narratives that have long shaped Black existence. In today's world, the concept remains as relevant as ever. The global landscape of race relations, economic disparities, and systematic discrimination continues to challenge the autonomy of the Black thought and identity, from media representations to educational curriculums. The subtleties of mental subjugation persist, necessitating a renewed focus on mental emancipation. The enduring importance of intellectual freedom for the Black community, examining how independence of thought empowers personal, communal, and political transformation in an ever evolving society. How do we navigate modern challenges while affirming a liberated, self defined Black identity? The answer lies in reclaiming and nurturing the independence of the Black mind. And when I say the independence of the Black mind, we're talking about where one is able to think independently, objectively, and not to be constrained or like you're in a plantation, if that's the word. And something which came to me, it is very interesting that something came to me alive today. Ladies, please share and like this. It is, I link this to Barack Obama because I saw in the papers today or in TikTok and social media world where Barack Obama apparently was reaching out to Black voters supporting Kamala Harris and chastising Black men who lean towards Trump. And now there's a sort of backlash now, which is coming out whereby saying that we're not on a plantation. Don't speak down to Black men in a way, you know. Don't demonize. Don't actually sort of cow them down. And when you look at it, it's like, hang on a second. If someone wants to vote for Trump based on their leaning or their policies, and if someone wants to vote for Harris based on their leaning and their persuasion, they should be and should not be actually, um, you know, put down or to be spoken to in a condescending way. Now, in the UK, we are seeing the rise of Kemi Badenoch. Kemi Badenoch, who is planning to run for, well, she's running to be the leader of the Conservative Party in the UK. There were James Cleverly, who's black, mixed race actually. Father is white, mother is black from Sierra Leone. Kemi Badenoch, her parents are from Nigeria, fully black. You know, she's married to a white gentleman, makes no difference. And so you're seeing that sort of rise, that sort of evolution. No wonder the topic tomorrow, which I'm gonna have, is called the evolution of the Black man, the evolution of Black history, as to where we are now. And then I tend to also link this as well to Jamaica, where the Black mind is still today caught up, I would say, in the relics and remnants of the colonial era with the same systems in place. and where the people, or rather majority, are getting leftovers from the master's table. And you say, who are the masters? Because when the 1962, or the transition from the England to UK to so-called independence, I do not call it independence. I call it the process towards independence. That's what I call it, the process. So, but all the same relics, shackles, were still there remaining, because the people weren't empowered with wealth. The people weren't empowered with land which was crucial. The land was incorporated into a structure, into a body. And what you're having is the same bourgeoisie, as someone would say, the same oligarchs controlling the same narrative. And right now, when you're seeing the whole aspect of even the Integrity Commission and the investigations of prime minister or leaders or so, you see people just rally behind them. Who cares? That's my massa. That's my massa. It's the same difference. It's like me, me sick. No, massa sick. We sick. you know, massa no good. We no good. I'm trying to say, massa dead. We dead. And you're picking in a way that is the same sort of concept which is there in the mindset of individuals, where one cannot actually decipher and sort of see that clear distinction between um, how things were then and how things are now. Yeah, the emancipation of the mindset. They said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free your mind. And this is all hallmarks of Marcus Garvey. And actually, it's coincidental that this is the same hallmarks of the discussion which I'll be having with Carlos later, when we look at the whole constitutional change and democratic and nationalism in respect of Jamaica. That is really awesome. So yeah, that's the thing there. Tell me what you're drinking or what you're gonna have. Um, the next thing which I wanted to talk about is this, and I'm gonna try to see if I can actually find a picture of it. Yeah, I think I can find a picture of it. The- the- there's something very interesting regarding Jamaican teachers. Yeah, it's been reported in the Guardian that Jamaican teachers at leading UK academy chain are paid less than their British colleagues. Schools that are part of the Harris Federation accused of taking too long to help staff to get UK teaching qualification. Now, as I mentioned years ago, I can't remember exactly how long it was, but there was the whole aspect of qualified teacher status. This was a way whereby Jamaican teachers or Commonwealth teachers, when they come to the UK, they had to be qualified, right? And they had to fit within a particular scheme in order to get their extension and all those sort of things. Now, somehow along the way, the rules change, and by the rules change, then some were deemed to be actually maybe you know could be deported or so back or sent back to the Caribbean. So we did some campaigning. I remember standing in front of the Home Office, did some work with the Jamaica High Commission as well, and to battle for the cause of Jamaican, um, teachers here in the UK. And there was a bit with the what do you call it, the Jamaican teachers in the UK. There was an organization. I don't know if that organization still stands, but what it was, and very crucial, was that there was the need for coming together, for people pulling together. And if I find a picture here, let me just find this picture here as well. Um, yeah, yeah, there it is. Yeah, Jamaican teachers in London school are being failed Union warns. National Education UK Union boss Daniel Kebebe spoke out after a report found that teachers at the Harris Federation are being paid much less than English trained recruits. Trained recruits. Teachers recruited from Jamaica to work for a major chain of academic schools in London have spoken of their devastation on finding out that they are being paid thousands of pounds a year less than English trained recruits with similar levels of experience. The Harris Federation, English England longest second sorry, let me take off that image there. Um, the Harris Foundation, which is the England's second largest academic chain with 54 state funded schools, has been recruiting from Jamaica in recent years, bringing teachers to the UK who are attracted by higher salaries than they can earn in Jamaica. However, experienced teachers have told the Observer that they have spent years working in the Irish schools while still being classed as unqualified. This means they are paid less than their qualified counterparts. You know, Harris paid its chief executive, Sir Daniel, 485,000 to 490,000 a year in 2023, when seven of executives were paid 190,000 each. But that's not the issue there. I think one of the issues that they're looking at is that the England National Pay Scale, listen to this, for teachers stated that less experienced staff with QTS, here we're talking about that qualified teacher status, could be paid up to 47,666 in inner London, and rising to a maximum of 56,959 for more experienced professionals. In contrast, teachers deemed unqualified, and mark you, these are teachers who are really qualified, and full of it, and they came to the UK, but they're deemed to be unqualified, are paid a maximum of 37,362, regardless of previous experience overseas. Although the difference in take home pay is not stark because unqualified Jamaican teachers are exempt from income tax for their first 2 years in England, Harris also offers a bonus of up to 2,000 teachers to work beyond their contractual hours. The process of gaining qualified status to change this is then in the school's control. National Education Union said all recruited staff should be put through the QTS application process within a year. This is like maybe 10, 15 years ago. It's like a similar thing, which is happening there. Same process there. And it's like if persons don't actually deal with it, or find a way to somehow come together and work to it, then you find that it become a repetition. And that is why I put out a feeler. I sent out a video to say that persons who are affected and want to talk about it, do talk, because sometimes people don't want to talk about it because they feel they're going to be picked off or so. But the system here in the UK has to deal a lot with what we call it, discrimination and all of different factors there. Yeah, definitely. And the the bit also which is important is that Jamaican is there's a what it says here. Recent report revealed that the Jamaican teachers are still flocking to the UK because, in a way, they are getting more when you compare it to what they're getting back home in Jamaica. So they're getting more at the same time. So that is very interesting. You can't fight that. You know what I mean? Balance and wellness to you, Michelle. What are you gonna have? What you guys having? I'm having some red wine. It's a Saturday night. Saturday Night Live. Yeah, tell me. Yeah. So any teachers who are out there, any Jamaican teachers, and if you know of any Jamaican teachers in the UK who are somewhat experiencing any of this disparity, uh, discrimination when it comes on to their wages, because I believe there was something that I saw in one of the articles. I believe it was in the Gleaner, or some teacher said anonymously says, um, The teacher, I know of teachers, yes, this is what one teacher said. I know of teachers who have migrated to the UK, for example, and they have told me that there are schools in which the entire maths department is 100% Jamaican, and the entire science department is 100% Jamaican. So clearly it's attractive. The teachers who I've spoken to over there speak about the resources that they are at their disposal. They speak about the support that they get, particularly at the mid-management level, you know. And someone said, I don't get the impression though that they are not seeing their way through. Teachers can easily save close to 2 million a year if they work in the UK, said. Jamaica has been suffering from chronic teacher migration, with the issue being blamed for the consistent mediocre performance of students in external exams. Classes, they say, have to be merged where there's a shortage, so teachers will have more students each teach in one particular class. Stakeholders have clamored for an increase in teacher. A trained teacher graduates earns a minimum of 3 million annually. Approximately that's £14,000. You see, when you compare that with getting £36,000 in the UK, but at the same time, the cost of living and balancing it out is another thing. And also remember that the UK qualified person gets 46,000 or so. Yeah. So that is something that needs to be looked at. And I reached out to one of the diaspora rep over here, and I think they said they're going to be having some sort of um, discussion on the matter as well. So that's very interesting. That's very interesting. So anyone that you know who is involved and want to get to talk about it, please do send that to me, and I will surely well talk about it. Now, there's another thing also. Where I was walking in the park this morning, and I did a video. And ladies and gentlemen, this whole into the Integrity Commission bit. There is a new report which has been tabled in the IC. The Integrity Commission has tabled a new one in Parliament, and it's about Michael Phillips. Michael Phillips is one of the People's National Party members of Parliament. He's the son of Peter Phillips, member of Parliament candidate, Northwest Manchester. Apparently, IC report is about him. But what we do not have is the report. What we have is Michael Phillips coming out and simply saying that, hey, I understand that I'm being investigated. I understand that the IC Commission has tabled something, but let me tell you this, he confirmed that he's a subject of an Integrity Commission report, which was sent to Parliament. The media release said the report has not yet been tabled. However, he has come out and said that in the interest of openness, he wishes to state that his 2022 statutory declaration was late due to a delay in getting all the relevant documents. He says shortly after the deadline, the documents were submitted. Mr. Phillips said he has since fully complied with all requirements. I want to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there. Now, I know a gentleman named Charlton McFarlane. I told him that I'm going to mention him tonight as well. Charlton McFarlane was the RGD chief. He's the person whose name is on your birth certificate and things like that. His statutory declaration wasn't submitted on time, and he was removed. I don't know if you say sack or remove, but here. Registrar General Department, all the way in the UK with Mr. McFarlane. Mr. McFarlane, you're the Chief Executive. Remind me of your position, sir.
So I am the Chief Executive Officer of the Registrar General Department. Essentially, my name is on the birth certificate.
Oh my days! Is it online?
If you are
Registrar General. Sorry, sorry. Did you hear me? I don't know if was I locked off here. An element of certainty. That is, when people do not know something, then tails start to wag. Where there's ignorance, then there is lots of presumption, and it manifests confusion. Yeah, it manifests confusion, right? And I believe somehow that this whole gagging order need to be lifted, because you just have people speculating as to who is the 7 persons. Well, the other 7 persons is Mike Phillips one of them. Could it be a situation whereby, and I believe that it's very important to hear the report, to see the other side of it, even though he says what he said, because it could be in a situation whereby, just like the Prime Minister said, I did not know that I was being investigated for illicit enrichment. Michael Phillips said, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not being investigated for illicit enrichment. So one don't know. So one has got to hold their horses. But one of the reasons why I believe that it is so important to bring this up and just to discuss it is because one would quickly run and make everybody run into, hit at the Prime Minister, hit at the government or so, because saying that these are a lot of the persons who are being investigated are JLP and all those sort of things. But the reality and the fact is that one don't know. And even with the Prime Minister, one has got to deem to say that the guy is innocent until proven guilty, if anything. But the whole thing about it is that the office of a member of parliament, the office of a prime minister, these offices are so crucial and also so sacred that I believe that if one finds that your office, and in comparison to how you're operating in that office, and if your name seems to be a distractive force, then one should step aside. And so step aside now, step aside, and have some level of certainty. The IC Commission, one would say, that need to somehow, be upfront, take it on the chin, name the persons or so, and call it a day, and let the chips fall where the chips fall. I don't know. That's just my thinking about it, because just with this Michael Phillips bit, I think it is sending that same signal there to say that, hey, this thing need to be settled sooner than later. But with it is something that I'm not going to get into it anymore, because this is where you go over into speculation. You cannot label on it too much. You can, you can't go beyond the fact, and let the course, let it play its course. Let it play its course, definitely. Right. Another thing also which I was looking at, and I'm just going to touch on those things until my guest comes on. Yeah. I saw this speech by the Prime Minister. Listen to it.
Be careful where you get your information. Read with discernment. One of the most frustrating things for me is to have intelligent people call me and ask me about rumors.
All these rumors around me every day, Let's play it again.
Everything that is published, not everything that is written, not everything that is carried by gossip and rumors should be believed. Be careful what you feed your mind. Be careful where you get your information. Read with discernment. One of the most frustrating things for me is to have intelligent people call me and ask me about rumors.
That is very powerful and sound advice. I'm sure no one will disagree. Those are very powerful and sound advice by the Prime Minister, you know, and that's a sound advice by anyone when it comes on to social media. You know, what you watch, how you listen, and all those sort of things. Discerning, the whole process of discernment, because people run with things so much, and therefore, and even the words from the Prime Minister has got to be taken with a level of discernment. You know, why is he saying that? Why is he saying it now? You know, because a lot of people are saying, hang on a second, are you trying to distract? Are you working some sort of psychology at the same time? You know, what is it? Where is this coming from? And I always say this all the while, you know, and people sometimes will be sending me videos, sending me pictures or so, and sending me voice notes, and you listen to these things and you say, who is the author behind it? What's the name of the person? What them name? What them address? What them mother name? You know, sometimes people just send things just for sending it to sort of be relevant, to go viral, to say you're the first person. So I always scrutinize videos which I get, you know, subject to the video if I want to keep it or not, or delete it. Scrutinize voice notes which I get. Delete it if it cannot be verified. People will say, boy, may I tell you, you know, listen, ladies and gentlemen, may I tell them, they don't even say their name. And therefore it manifests in the confusion where people will send you things and then you ask them the question, why did you send that? And they'll say, oh, I sent it because I want you to test it out, to check it for me. You know, main media says, what is he? Even main media as well, exactly what he's doing. Distraction. Is it distraction? Audio frozen. Did you say my audio is frozen? Is my audio frozen? Can anyone hear me? I think my audio is frozen. Is my audio frozen? Can you hear me? I think I can see myself there, and I can see myself here. Michelle, I think your audio is frozen. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's me. I think it's your audio is frozen. Let me see. Saying, I don't think it's me. I think it's your. Yep. Audio live and direct. Yeah. It's sound. It is sound advice. Sound advice. You know. But that advice shouldn't be an advice whereby it is words against the thinking of what's been happening in the government, and to say that it is fake news or it is false or so. I believe that information, either way, need to be sent out. I believe that information need to be shared. I believe that information for people to decide whether they want to accept it or not. Yes, Michelle, it is your connection. It is, as the big hand said, it is you. It is your connection as well, you know? Yeah. What is the whole thing? Because I believe very, very strongly, that the office of the Prime Minister should take precedence. I believe that no man should hold up the office of the Prime Minister or bring it into disrepute. No one, no man should hold the office of the Prime Minister into disrepute. No man should hold an office, a member of Parliament, into disrepute. If there's an issue where there's a conflict, then one should step aside. One should protect their names. I think my name is more important than this show. I think my name is more important than a job. I try to protect my name as much as possible. That's the only thing you have. And I believe that in either way that the the office of the prime minister, the office of the presidency, and that's why I always keep saying, I say it, Michelle, I say that the office of the president, well, the president is subject to the office of the presidency. And that's why I say, whether it is Kamala Harris or whether it is Trump, makes no difference really in a sense. Might as well you just have Joe Biden still there, if anything, because he'll be controlled and he'll be coerced and he'll be guided and be persuaded. That is why Biden always said, they said, as a man, once a man, twice a child, once a man, twice a child. So as a child, sometimes you speak the truth. And therefore, what Biden is saying is the truth by saying, she tells me what to do. They tell me what to do. They are my boss or so. I'm guided. Because even with these, nuclear buttons, people say, oh, let's not get Trump near it, let's not get Kamala near it or whatever like that. No, they do not sit there next to their bed and say, well, what Russia say? What Russia say? What Russia say? I'm going to mash up your country, Russia. What Russia say? And they're going to press a button. No, they don't do that. They got to go through these checks and balances in order to check out this thing. They got to go through these checks and balances to find out what is happening and to the right code and see if it's the right thing to do. And then they press that button. So no, Trump will not have that buttons by his bedside. Kamala Harris won't have that button by their bedside. Biden don't know where his bed is actually. or so not sorry, Biden, so this whole thing, but the point I'm just trying to say right there, ladies and gentlemen, the point I'm just trying to say right there is that the office of the presidency is crucial. The office of the prime minister is crucial, right? That office takes paramount. Paramount is so crucial, and therefore the whole thing, especially when it comes on to, I'm just having this conversation, this is nice, the whole thing regarding the constitution reform, because one is not even hearing anything in regards to the constitution reform, because you're seeing parliamentarians, because they have a majority, will propose and want to change laws that fits their narrative, that protects them. Yeah, because one is more majority. You had the opposition try to put a motion, and they were just blocked because somehow the speaker is not even is biased. To a certain extent. So therefore, there's no level of sort of objectivity in the UK. And I always say this all the while. In the UK, whenever you have things fall apart, and you have a situation where the prime minister is caught with his hands in the cookie jar, or is being investigated in some respect, there will be, investigation, and then there will be a motion for them to step down or so. And then people always say, now, when will that take place? People ask, when will Boris Johnson go? When will Liz Truss go? When will Theresa May go? When will Rishi Sunak go? If you notice, I just mentioned a while ago 4 prime ministers that served not so long in the UK. And guess what was so important? Guess what is so crucial? They were all taken down by their own party. They're all taken down by their own party. The backbenchers play a fundamental role. The 1922 committee played a fundamental role and was able to take them down. The system there is in place. But the system is only can work where you got honorable people who is there. They say, where, evil prevail when good men do nothing, and good women. So what you have persons within the same party structure, put their motions, people who write their letters of no confidence to trigger a vote, and you remove the person. But can that happen in Jamaica? Can that happen whereby there are questions about the leader of one of the political parties? And I put it to you that if it was the PNP, it would be the same thing, unless one can say otherwise. If it was the PNP and they had the majority and the shoes was on their leg or so, on their feet, you'd have the same thing whereby they all close ranks behind the leader. All closing ranks behind the leader. And closing ranks behind the leader is dangerous because when he goes, everybody goes down with him as well. You need men and women of stature, men and women with integrity, men and women who will stand up and say, no, where's that fighting spirit? Where is that warrior spirit of Jamaicans, whereby people are now somewhat silent, people are now complicit, people are now accepting of things just like that because I am green and because I'm orange. And if someone says something against the narrative of the green, then you are orange. And if you say something against the narrative of the orange, then you are green. And therefore, if someone speak objectively and don't know nothing about the party, you're somewhat caught up in the frame and you're deemed to be either one, depending on how you speak. So therefore, what you do not have now, you do not have the voice of reasoning. The voice of reasoning is gone. The voice of reasoning, there's a lack of, the voice. I say the voice, the thinking man voice, whereby persons can actually reason things out and say, I believe this, I think this, no matter whatever my color. And they talk about the independence of the black mind, right? The independence of the mind and how relevant it is today. Because if the mind is not independent from today, then it's going to be difficult for the children of tomorrow to possess that level of independence because they're not taught that way. Because remember this, a lot of people say, from a born, my parents is this, my father is this, and blah, blah, blah. I'll forever be green, I'll forever be orange or so. That's what they say. That's what people say. And it behoves me that for today in the 20th century, 2024, the same bourgeoisie mentality, the same sort of thinking is there, where it's like, might as well, you just have this same colonial masters there. You have a constitution which was passed and given to the Jamaican people. 1962, you had independence. 1962, I call it fake independence, if anything like that. There's one thing that I've decided I have not done for years. I've not actually attended any of the independence services in the UK because I fear, and I encourage my children as well not to. Don't say happy independence. Just say happy celebration to Jamaica, but happy independence. What is independence if you have the Governor General as the head of state and the Governor General swear allegiance to the King of England? I saw there was a celebration of a barrister, an attorney in Jamaica, because he became King's Counsel. Now, if you have the removal of the king as the head of state, there's no more of these guys which are going to be called King's Counsel. Is Jamaica ready and want to let go of the relics of slavery, of the relics of the colonial masters, of the relics of the past? That's a big question you got to ask. Are you willing, ready to let go of the relics of the past? And I don't think anyone wants to do that. I don't think the majority of people want to do that. I don't believe the prime minister want to do that. I don't believe the MPs want to do that. I don't believe that there's a will. I don't believe that there's a gravitas. I don't believe that there's a determination. There's a lack of will, lack of motivation, lack of inspiration to inspire the people to want to actually be free, to move away from the shackles of slavery, to have free thinking. Because what you have, they are like gate masters. They're like gate masters. I'm speaking it simple as that. What you have as parliament, they're gate masters, maintaining and keeping the status quo. Don't want to rock the boat. They want to keep the king. And therefore, and that is why they move away from having things like an executive president, giving the people over the power. But they want to have a ceremonial president that they work together to fix. So they fix this person and they can run with this person. Because you cannot just have a replacement or a change without understanding what the change is going to be. You're always talking about wanting to have so much power in the hands of the prime minister. So you want to get rid of it. You could end up giving same powers to a president as well. And then that president turns out to be corrupted. So that is why one need to have the reforms within the constitution. That's why you're going to have impeachment. That is why you have recall. That is why you're going to have things like election dates for election. That is something which should have been around a long time. You shouldn't have a situation whereby it is a prime minister. I just wake up. Let me just say, I'm the prime minister. Should we have election today? We have election tomorrow. Should have election next week. Let's forget it. Let's do election 2 years from now. Let's find some sort of something to push it back or something like that. Let's create some virus or so, let's create some war with Haiti or something. So therefore, we don't have to have election. There's no certainty. I was just procrastinating. I was just being frivolous a while ago. But there's a lack of certainty. There's a lack of dates that people can know without a doubt that on this day in 2025, May or so, there's going to be an election. There's going to be a general election. And that general election, I'm ready for it. So therefore, if there are persons overseas, and therefore if I myself want to get into that, got my Jamaican passport, I can say, okay, the election in Jamaica, I do not have the right to vote because I'm in the UK. But if I have a Jamaican passport and I want to vote, then I can go down to Jamaica and make sure that I am registered. Yeah? Emancipator mindset. Therefore, I can be registered. So therefore, I plan to go down and get registered. I'm now on the electoral list. Yes. Now, what do I do now? When the election comes, because I know send me the 5th or June the 5th, then I fly down, take a 2 weeks there, and go vote. So therefore, people from overseas, you can vote if you got a dual citizenship, especially for a person in the UK. If you got a listen, you got lots of persons every day, every time you have the High Commission having ceremonial bits, because the RGD, when they came to the UK, they were encouraging, and the PICA, the Passport Immigration Control, was encouraging people to go and get their British passport, get their Jamaican passports, and to become citizens of Jamaica. Yes, citizens of Jamaica. And then by becoming citizens of Jamaica, you can take part in the process. So therefore, you can go down there and you can register and get yourself sorted. There's some stipulation there. You go down there and get yourself registered to vote. Get on that electoral list. Certainty. But because there's no level of backside certainty, the prime minister can get up anytime he wants, how he feel, and call election. He can call election end of this year. he can call election mid next year or so. It's up to him, the whims and fancy, which shouldn't be. Now, that is something that needs to be changed in the Constitution, in the Constitution reform. It must be changed. But the people, as what Michelle always say, the power of the people have the power, and the power of the people is in the people. You know, that what you say, Michelle? The people have the power, and the power in the people. You know, it's it type that thing for me, Michelle. It shouldn't go that way that he is party get to choose when elections should be. That means you have the upper hand. Of course, that's exactly what it is. Because you're gonna see the signs on the wall, and you're gonna say, right now, let me go now. You know, in the UK, that's not how it is. And at the same time, if one is gonna say that you're following the masters or the UK, then follow the UK for Pete's sake. Follow what the UK is doing. There's term limits. There's not term limit. As a matter of fact, I do believe that one shouldn't go beyond 2 terms in a sense. Like any prime minister shouldn't go beyond 2 terms, 3 terms, 4 terms. After a while, you start to walk like you own Jamaica. You start to, you know, push out your chest like say, me you own Jamaica, Jamaica mine. That shouldn't be. Shouldn't be that it seems like Jamaica is yours. Shouldn't be that one is held up in the office of the prime minister and it seemed like this is yours. Anybody, that means this is anybody. So therefore, this constitution reform, it needs to take place, but I don't believe it's going to be at this part of this parliament, right? Because I don't believe that this rush thing should take place, because as they say, you swap black dog for monkey. Somebody say blacker. You swap black dog for a blacker dog or monkey. Swapping black dog for monkey. That shouldn't be, right? That shouldn't be, ladies and gentlemen. You know, times have to change, and the people will have to make a difference. People have to do something. People have to wake up. You know, and that's one of the reasons why I don't get caught up into lots of these discussions online, especially with Jamaica so much, because you know it is so vitriol. There's so much hate. You know, it's like people are just being divided. A small nation like Jamaica, whereby, you know, a small nation which has so much hate on different sides, you know. Yeah. As I say, the power of the people is more powerful than the people in power. Let's navigate that for a second. You always say it all over, but let's navigate that for a second and see how true it is and see how real it is, really. The power of the people is more powerful than the people in power. That's a nice statement, and really and truly it should be. But as Harriet Tubman says, if only they knew. If only they knew. Because the people need to understand that they have the power. But at the same time, having the power in the sense of words and without actions, that means to say they're powerless. I never forget, a gentleman said to me the other day, he's going to birthday, and he said, Silburn, oh Silburn, if only Silburn knows who Silburn is. You know, he says, Silburn, oh Silburn, if only Silburn knows who Silburn is. That was challenging my mindset as to who I am. And therefore, persons will have to challenge by saying, you Jamaican, oh you Jamaican, do you know who you are? Do you know the power that you have? Really? Do you know that? How can I exercise it then? That's a big question. How does it move from saying the power of the people is more powerful than the people in power? If that's the case, then why this is happening still? If that's the case, then why people are sort of not actually engaging in the process? Why there's a high level of apathy where people are not wanting to get involved in the political process? Why there's 37% of people who turned out at the last general election in Jamaica? Why there is 27% or so turnout at the last local government election in Jamaica? Why at the last by-election in Northeast Centon, 43,000 people were or is on the electoral list for Northeast Centon, and just under 5,000 voted for the MP. And the two independents, one got just over 20 votes, and the other one just around 200 votes. Can you think about that? Think about that for a second. People not interested. They're not inspired. They're not motivated because they're saying, what does sense me do this for? Why? Only if the people know the government works for you, not the other way around. They need to know this, Michelle. But you see, what has happened is that people have been guzum. I'm sorry, it's like a sort of cult thing, man. Yeah, what you guys drinking? Yeah, it's like a it's like a cult thing, which is unfortunate. It is like a cult thing. The power of the people. Yeah, the independence of the black mind. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow night I'm going to be having Mr. Anthony Francis. Gonna have Mr. Anthony Francis tomorrow night, and we're going to be talking about the let's see. We're going to be talking about. Let me just get rid of this here. Black history, where we are now, evolution of Black history, music, films, and politics. Are we the same as we were yesterday? Is there any change? Should there be more changes? Yeah. Let's talk on that tomorrow. And it's going to be at 8 p.m. Anthony Francis is the author of the book, Think It, Plan It, Do It Now. Think It, Plan It, Do It Now. And Think It, Plan It, Do It Now, that speaks simply about if you got an idea, you got a vision, you don't wait, you just do it now. You think it, plan it, just do it now. Don't wait, don't procrastinate. Because I find that a lot of procrastination is really powerful. Today I was walking in the park. I just want to change the subject a bit. So I was walking in the park, and while I was walking in the park, I saw the leaves. Yeah, I saw the leaves, and the leaves were on the ground, signifying that it's a fall. It's signifying that it's autumn. And one can always get a message from anything. One can get a message from anything. The message I got from there is this. This is the inspirational message. The message I got was this. There are times you got to let things fall off. Yeah. Let it just fall. Don't try to pick it up back. Sometimes things are happening in your life or whatever, and it's trying to let go and it's trying to drop off. You try to hold it back, like a skirt that drop off and hold it or something like that. But sometimes you got to just let it fall, let the chips fall to the ground. Fall. And then guess what's going to happen? After it falls off and dies, and don't pick it up back, then new things start to arise. Then because you're going to have the winter, then you're going to have the spring, and then there's going to be new things arising, new things coming up, and that's going to be so powerful. And I saw that today. I did a video. I'm going to post it. It was under a 2-minute video there. Just really encourage it, because you see, it's unfortunate sometimes that people are somewhat caught up into things over years, But sometimes one has got to just let things just fall and let it leave its course. Ladies and gentlemen, listen. I was contemplating, and I was looking at in the UK here. There's something happening in the UK. There's something happening in the UK, and what is happening in the UK is that we're seeing the rise of this particular lady. The rise of this lady, which is called Kemi Badenoch. Yeah. And
Very clear.
yes, sir.
We're not just the ERG, the TRG, or One Nation. We are one conservative party. We are a movement, a conservative movement. And I will always defend that cause. Some people say, I like a fight. I can't imagine where they got that idea. But it's not true. I do not like to fight, but I'm not afraid to fight. I don't fight for the sake of fighting, but I do fight for you. Every day of the last Parliament, I fought for conservative values. I fought for them even when I was told it wasn't in my interest. I fought for
Now, that is Kemi Badenoch, yes? That's Kemi Badenoch. She's running to be the Conservative leader in the UK. That's her there. And she's running against Robert Jenrick, who is the within the same party, of course. So she's running for the Conservative leader. He's running also for the Conservative leader. The dynamism of this is that if she wins this leadership contest, and the signs are pointing towards her winning, then what could happen is that she's a potential to be the next prime minister. That is if the Conservative win the next election. That is if Keir Starmer keep making these crazy things. And, I'll go back into that about politics a bit. But so this is about the rise of Black leadership. There was a James Cleverly. James Cleverly also was running as well. And James Cleverly, unfortunately, he was knocked out. James Cleverly is, what should I say, a good friend of mine. And where is he? Is James Cleverly right there? And there's myself with Kemi Badenoch. This picture here actually was in 2008 or 2009 at a Yes Weekend event which I organized when Barack Obama, I think, yes, this was the inauguration. We had planned this for the inauguration. So there, I myself organized it with a couple of guys, and we had lots of people there because it was history for the first Black man to be the president of the United States of America. And there was with Kemi at some other event at the Conservative headquarters. James Cleverly, that's the other guy there. He was the second. He's a person that many people thought that was going to win. And there myself with my other colleague there as well, and myself with James Cleverly again, and the late James Brokenshire, who passed away, Conservative colleague there, who passed away as well. So you see what is happening is, I know lots of persons will be saying that they always have this saying like, my kinfolk is not your kinfolk, and it's kinfolk and all those sort of things, and coconut and all this. And I believe it's such a retrograde thinking, because one has got to recognize, because when one listens to Kemi or so, one would say, wow, she's speaking certain things, and yet she's an immigrant, or well, she was born in this country, but her parents are from Nigeria. But the point about it is that she's operating on policies wanting to run this country. And I believe that is admirable. It's very, very admirable of her wanting to do that. I believe it is very admirable of James Cleverly wanting to do that, putting himself in position. And I remember years ago, I was involved with this organization whereby I was lecturing or speaking on political involvement. And I was speaking with some young people. And I took these young people to Parliament, to House of Commons. I keep saying this all the while, but it's very important. What I'm going to say now is there was Dominic Grieve, who was the former Attorney General in the UK. There's Dan Abbott was there, and there was also the youngest MP for Lib Dems. And it was at a committee room at the House of Commons in the palace, the old building there. And one of the things I said to these young people, and most of them are black, they are all black, or non-white. I said, you got to claim this place as if it is yours. You cannot somehow just say, I don't belong. You got to claim it that it is yours. You got to own it. That's what Kemi is doing, owning the UK. Not seeing herself as someone separate and apart based on the color of her skin. And I believe that wherever we are as black people in this world, whether in the UK, whether it's in Canada, whether in USA, and even in Jamaica, you got to claim the space that you're on. And of course, I know that person's wanting to go back and say that they're going to go to Africa. That should be commendable as well. Africa is waking up to the whole concept of this, kicking out who needs to be kicked out. But one has got to own it, because we have seen in the UK, there was a Rishi Sunak, Prime Minister. Yes, he wasn't voted in by the public and had a mandate from the nation, but through the party. There are 2 women prime ministers, 3 women prime ministers for the Conservative Party. Margaret Thatcher, Theresa May, and there was Liz Truss, who didn't last longer than a lettuce, according to what many persons say. And that's the level of diversity. So we are moving into these areas now whereby you've got a foreign secretary who is David Lammy, black man, background Guyanese. Yeah. So you're seeing the rising up of the black race in many different levels, but one has got to be very careful that one do not actually tear down the rise at the same time, just because one don't think that way, or one perception and one ideals. Because as black people, one of the things is that we are magic, yet we bleed. As the guy from, I believe his great autonomy said, we're magic, but we do think differently. We don't always think the same way. The independence of the black mind, the independence, how relevant that is. That is very powerful, you know? And that's why, and even the whole thing sometimes about that persons they climb the ladder of success because they're married or interracial marriage, or they're married to a white person, a white man or a white woman. That has got to go to bed, because you've got so many very successful persons out there who are fully black. Was it fully black? You know, love is love. You know, love is love. If people want to get involved with someone of a different color, that's love. You know, that one cannot actually push that aside and try to somewhat, use some pop shots at it to say that is the reason, that's rational. No. You know, that's the whole thing. You know, but yeah. So I'm going to be talking to shortly Mr. Carlos Daly. Yeah. And this is for the event which is happening. And if I can find that video, I'm going to find that video and play it. Yeah. Today is the 12. Here we go.
Make a Unity Alliance on Sunday, October 13th from 3 to 7 p.m. at the University of Technology, Jamaica, Lecture Hall 50. Discuss constitutional change, executive presidency, and democratic nationalism. Let's unite to end poverty, corruption, and foreign interest. Demand transparency, integrity, and accountability. Be part of this historic moment. Stand up and be counted. See you on October 13th. Together, let's shape Jamaica's future.
Good. We need to connect them, Malcolm, before you can add them to the stream. Okay, I'm trying to get all of Mr. Carlos Daly. I can see him there, trying to get on. I'm gonna see if I can. Mr. Daly, how are you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Good. Okay, so I'm not gonna have your picture then, no? Yeah, your video. Your face is not gonna be seen.
No, that's okay.
No. I'm just asking if your face is gonna be seen or so.
I'm not sure. I'm not too familiar with this stuff, you know. So, it's up to you.
No. It's for you to show your face. I can't do it from my side. It's only from your side where you can actually give permission for your camera to be seen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you have to give permission. I don't know if you're there you are.
Right.
You are, live and direct.
Well, at least I learned something today.
you learned something today. How are you doing?
Yeah. I'm all right. I'm happy to be on your show.
Yes. So you had a good discussion. You had some good planning earlier today, isn't it?
Yeah.
I did play your video a while ago.
Yeah.
In regards to the event which is happening tomorrow the 13th of the 10th.
Yeah, correction, you know, it's the Jamaica Unity Alliance video, not my video.
Okay. Well, okay, yeah. Okay, Jamaica Unity Alliance video. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell us about the Jamaica Unity Alliance then. Tell us in a nutshell.
Well, it last year August at the Jamaica Conference Center, we had an all People's Alliance, Patriot Alliance, and out of that meeting at the Jamaica Conference Center, we came up with about 8 groups.
Yes.
And then since then, you know, it's about forming a unity. But, you know, it's easier said than done.
Yes.
So out of the 8 emerged 4.
Okay.
And those 4 is now registered in Jamaica, etc., under the Jamaica Unity Alliance. The 4 groups are the Jamaica Patriotic Movement, of which I am the chairman.
Okay.
Jamaica, the Marcus Garvey Political Movement, and Tankor Movement.
Yes.
So we are on, you know, we came together with an objective to offer alternative solution and to also enter the debate conversation that is taking place in Jamaica, especially with the constitutional change, etc.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're inviting everybody tomorrow to come out. We're going to have 2 hours of interaction with the patrons. So people can ask us, because we are new, people can ask us all the questions that they need to ask.
I have the flyer up there, the constitutional change and democratic nationalism. Going to be at lecture hall number 50 from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Sorry, 3 p.m. My apologies. 3 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Right.
From Monarchy to Republic, Executive President now. Now we got a small amount of time here, but how are we? How focused can you be then on what is the sole, or what should I say, the central issue? The central issue at this time, and as they say in law sometimes, what is the mischief? What is the rationale and the reasoning behind this movement?
Well, given the state of our country, you know, remember since 1962 we have been operating off a colonial constitution, you know.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, we're actually still under the British concept. When the Prime Minister came out with constitutional reform, we see that as an avenue wherein that our people could express itself in terms of participating in a genuine democratic process, wherein originally the leader of the opposition and the current government, they are the one who choose the prime minister.
Mm.
They're the prime minister. So what we are saying is that the government should transform the Constitutional Reform Committee into an executive committee towards direct presidential election. So our job is to inform our people of that avenue for the first time so that they can free themselves from this two-party dictatorship. Because that's what it really is. Let me just move right into the democratic aspect.
Please, yes.
I don't know if you realize that it's only 29 to 30% of our people that vote. So 70% don't vote.
I said it earlier. 37% in 2020 in the last election, and
Right.
27% at the local government election.
Right.
And hold on, and just to add, the last by-election, 43,000 people were registered in Northeast Centre, and less than 5,000 people voted.
Right. So that shows you that there's a lack of interest because people don't see that their vote is taken seriously, because you still have the bad road, and you still have the corruption, and you still have the nepotism. You know, nothing is being done. And then what we are saying is that we need servant, not leaders. And we need servant wherein that the sole purpose is to serve Jamaica, not to serve corporate interests. Most of these parliamentarians, they have their own. So how can you find time to take care of our national issues? Like example, I know you're familiar with the latest report that the prime minister have 28 accounts. Now, what time does he have to take care of our business? The roads are bad, especially now since the hurricane. There's no picking up of trash. I mean, the whole place is a mess, right? And the reason for that is that they just do what they want. They get the vote, and then they turn their back on the people. We need to change that. And executive presidency is the path in terms of attaining full sovereignty. Because the minute you do that, you're really excommunicating yourself from the British control. But you know that is going to be hard because they don't really want to do that. They pretend as if they want to do it.
I want to tell you that I saw that there is a lot of celebration and congratulations to some senior lawyer in Jamaica who became a King's Counsel. And I said, if you get rid of the king and get rid of the monarchy, all of these King's Counsel and all them things that gone that's right. You gotta say.
Yeah. But you know, that's what I'm saying. You know, you have a foreign mindset in Jamaica. You know? Yeah, it's really strong here. As you can see, our youth and our people is being programmed for foreign interests, foreign goods, foreign everything, at the expense of our local talent, local production, local professional, etc., etc. Now, how can you run a nation state if you don't give your teachers proper wages, so you allow them to leave? So who is going to teach our kids?
Were you listening to my show earlier where I mentioned that Jamaican teachers overseas are being paid less than their equivalent British nationals?
Of course, yeah. So that is a reality. And if you study nation states that are successful, one of the main key things is the investment in education. Investment in education. And from that, now you create a highly educated technical workforce. Right? So what we have here is cheap labor. Right? You can imagine somebody with a master's degree working as a teller. It's really the underutilization of talent.
Yes.
And then that person is just looking to leave. So that is what holding back our country. We need people who are very nationalistic in outlook and putting our people first and foremost.
A colleague of mine was on the show. He's on the show now. She sent this message, which saying the power of the people is more powerful than the people in power. Now that's a nice saying.
You're
but,
right.
But does it work? Does it work in Jamaica? Does it work?
No, well, it take time, You see, we are trying to manifest this phrase here,
yes.
right? Yeah. So you have to start somewhere. It's hard,
Yes.
Honestly, I'm here in Jamaica and I see it every day. It's gonna be hard, But what in life that come easy? Yeah, it was hard during Marcus Garvey time, but he didn't give up.
He didn't give up. Yes.
No. You have to believe in what you're doing and just keep pushing it. We believe in what we're doing. And not only the belief, it's the love of country.
Yes.
Love of country above self. That is why.
Yeah. It's interesting what you're saying, and the whole galvanizing of the people, the education process whereby persons will not say things like this. I'm gonna post what someone says right there, and that shows you the problem we have in Jamaica. I'm gonna post this right now, and I'm gonna put this person on blast. The Prime Minister does no wrong. The Prime Minister does no wrong. Nothing is wrong with a person thinking that, but for you to think that the Prime Minister does no wrong when you're seeing so much evidence of pointing towards wrong, but you're just caught up in the whole orange and green factor. So therefore, there need to be this sort of education process whereby people can think objectively. What do you have to say?
No, but you said correctly, I would use the word tribal. So it's really it's a tribalistic, and I blame it based off the parliamentary system, the British parliamentary system, which you have to split the country into, and then every 5 years you change the driver, but the bus but the bus remains the same, and that's why we are in this predicament. We have a total breakdown of our healthcare system. We have our professional migrating. And then now, the danger now is that we have a younger generation that don't have no regards to life. They're more attuned to vanity. Yeah, almost every other day you have a mass shooting here. Yeah, there's no respect for life and dignity and discipline. There's a breakdown in law and order. So the whole system is decaying. So we have to step up and try to reverse this trend. So what we are saying is that we are appealing to the Jamaicans all over the world to join us, to help us. As it stands right now, everything we are doing is from our personal contribution and effort. And even our life, because, politically in Jamaica, it's very risky. But you can't let fear get to you. You just have to do what is right. So we're going to need all the support.
A lot of persons will have to be martyrs for the cause, isn't it? If you want to see fundamental change, that's what you're actually saying. What are some of the programs like for tomorrow, like some of the topics? It's from 3 to 7, so that's a good 4 hours there. What is it sort of like? What is sort of agenda like, or any key points you want to highlight?
Well, our president will be introducing himself, and he will be speaking for at least 1 hour. We'll be allowing 2 hours for people to interact, to ask questions. 2 hours out of the 4 is for questions. Yeah, we're going away from the traditional. We want to hear what the people ideas are and what concerns are, and then we'll deal with it. Now, my expertise is in finance, so I will explain to our people the financial aspect of our economy and to show them that it is unsustainable, because the elephant in the room is the International Monetary Fund, and you cannot have any growth or development with that kind of system in place.
But Nigel is going there to take care of it and help Jamaica, isn't it?
Nigel, I thought he resigned. He messed up the country. That's why he's resigning.
No, that's why I said he's going there. He's
Yeah,
BBC. He's going
yeah.
there.
Yeah, well, you know, it's a reward, you know. They go pat him on his back and say, job well done. You don't have any growth and you have the inflation. You're really impoverishing, or you impoverish our people, and you increase your wage before you left. So they're praising him here, corporate Jamaica. But in reality, actually, you know, last weekend in the paper, our debt ratio went up. So when I saw that in the paper, I said, hey, that's why he's jumping ship, because everything is going down the drain.
Yes.
And also the fact that they're investigating his boss. So I am wondering if he's also tainted. My recommendation is that he should be audited also before him leave Jamaica.
You mean Nigel Clark?
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not a finance man.
What someone just said a while ago, it's not like what I meant. They investigate him and they don't see he does nothing wrong. If you can show me where an investigation say he's guilty, I don't see anybody said the Prime Minister is guilty of anything. You haven't said it. I have not said it. So, and I think that's the issue with Jamaica, whereby when people start to talk about the concerns and the issues and the investigation, they jump into it to say that we are saying the Prime Minister is guilty. Nobody's saying that. The man is innocent until proven guilty. But you've got to let the investigation follow its full course.
Of course. But we have to also keep in mind that both parties, what they do, they set up committees, depending on who is in power. And you also have laws within Parliament that prevent the institution from prosecuting them. So what you're seeing right now is a process of what they do. They drag out this whole thing, you know, because, you know, you can imagine some of the laws here was originated by Holness, and he's now he wants to get rid of them. So it leaves one the impression that, hey, what is he hiding? Why you don't make the process just proceed?
Follow the course, yeah.
Yeah, and then as a finance person, if you bring in a forensic auditor, it's just a matter of looking at asset and liability. What is so difficult about that? Everything with our government is so difficult. To fix the road is difficult. To fix healthcare is difficult. To provide jobs is difficult. And to even investigate their asset is difficult. Why? But if somebody go out there and thief a pound of chicken, then he may end up get shot, or you catch him and you lock him up.
Or take active from the Governor General House. Yeah,
but you're talking about state asset, and you're talking about billions of dollars, you know. So where's the money going? It must be in somebody's pocket.
Yeah, it is very interesting when it comes on to the whole aspect of integrity, accountability, selflessness, leadership, openness. And I'm using some of the whole 7 of the Nolan principles, 7 of the whole aspect of the code of conduct, which the present government and the members have not signed up to. It's shocking. You know, have not signed up to those 7 code of conduct. Now when it comes on to this whole constitution reform, Carlos, where do you see that now? Where do you see it going? How do you think it should be revised, reviewed, or should it just mash up and start again?
Well, I suspect that Holness regret that he started this process. They did a poll and it came out in the newspaper. I think it's either Gleaner or Observer, that majority of our people want executive presidency. Yeah, it's there. So if you are the Prime Minister of Jamaica and the people say they want executive presidency, why are you going around the bush? Why are you cutting corners? Just give the people what they want. Right, so what they do, they come out with this thing, constitutional reform, because what they want to do is still maintain that colonial parliamentary system. without the Governor General. That's it. You keep the system in place.
Same way.
So yeah, same way. So nothing changed. That is why them don't want to move to executive presidency, because that would just disturb them whole what you call it, Ignis. Them whole.
Yeah. So if I can explain it to people as well, is that ceremonial president is one whereby both of the party leaders or parties will choose someone to be the president. Ceremonial.
Yeah, ceremonial.
So therefore, the question you got to ask yourself now then is, if one of them have 50 people as MPs and then one have just 13, therefore that that ceremonial president is going to lean to one side, isn't it? Obviously.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. It's just about they're playing with just the title, the names, but the system still remain the same.
Yes.
So what we're trying to do now is educate or inform our people to pressure the system, because without struggling, not going to get anywhere. So we're gonna enter the executive presidency race, and we're gonna tell our people, hey, vote for us. In other words, we want to enter this political field by giving our people the choice.
Yes.
And because 70% of them don't vote, so if 70% vote for executive presidency, then they can't stop us. In other words, in short, it's time to free our country from this whole Western connection, wherein from 1962 to where we are now, you still have only 5% of our people that own the majority of our assets. That's what needs to change.
Carlos, I call it that we're still having the relics. The last bastion of colonialism and slavery is still there.
Yeah.
1962 was an opportunity whereby people could have had wealth through land distribution, but they all put that together on the UDC and still control the same thing, right?
Right.
Therefore, what you're having, as you rightly said a while ago, is just like Harriet Tubman says, you just don't know. Well, actually, maybe Harriet Tubman is not even right in this one, because people are still in shackles and slavery, in a way, indirectly.
Of course. See, one of our ideas is that instead of tourism being the main aspect of our foreign exchange, we should make agriculture the primary, so we can prepare for the future disaster that's coming in terms of being self-reliant. No, this is not a new concept, you know. The Michael Manley government started that whole process based off Garvey vision of Jamaica. So because with the tourism industry, the money come in and it goes right back out. Our people don't really benefit, because most of the hotels are owned by foreign interests. Now, if our government was nationalistic, then they would be directing how the hotel should operate. Now, you should have a link with the hotel, the link from the hotel to the agricultural sector, so that you kind of reduce the amount of imports, so we can save foreign exchange. Now, one other aspect in terms of helping our economy is that government must control all receipt coming into Jamaica. So the government do have to go to private sector, own and control foreign exchange entity to borrow money.
Yes.
You can imagine you're a government and you're borrowing money from the local rich, and you have the power to control all foreign exchange coming to your country, so that if you need medical equipment, you have the foreign exchange ready to buy to benefit your country. So it's a whole heap of things that have to change in terms of finance and the economy. Because currently, as it stands, our government don't own our economy. The private sector does. And why? Because that is one of the stipulations of the IMF agreement. That is one of the stipulation of the IMF agreement. Now, people can research it, go on the IMF website, and you will see it. So right now we operate on a structural adjustment program where that the government must only concentrate on security. The private sector must run the economy. So I'm not saying, this is not my idea. I'm telling you the reality. There's no country, there's no country in the world that succeed based off the IMF plan. Most countries that under the IMF plan, as you know, they have social eruption. Government change every 3-4 months. Jamaica is the only country that has been under the IMF program all these years, and you do have a social eruption. You know why? Because most of our people migrate, and a lot of them have mental issues, and then the younger generation end up 6 foot under or in prison. So that is the model we are operating off of.
What's your take? What's your take on the young people? What's your take on the future? The young people in Jamaica.
Well, it starts from the educational aspect, you know, because everybody looking at the young people. I was a teacher once. I teach high school in America, and what I learned, it's a new generation. They're very exciting. I call them the high tech youth. So, but there is, when you're under colonial power, they have a term now that they call social engineering. That means you are programming your kids towards violence, towards sex and violence. So we're adopting the Western educational system. And what you find now in Jamaica, when a young man or a young girl graduate from university, they are theoretically attuned, but in terms of computing and doing stuff and thinking, strategic thinking, it's very lacking. So we're not preparing. So we're not preparing our kids to advance in high tech and artificial intelligence and those kind of stuff. I remember one minister saying that we must just make them go rear goat and all them stuff. It's a joke business. It's a joke. So they do have any problem having all these kids killing each other. And then our prison system is overflowing, and not only that, the kids they more gravitate towards anything that is gun related. It's exciting to them because that's what they're promoting. And why? Because the private sector owns the means of communication in Jamaica, and that's what they promote to the kids. And that's a reality. That is a reality. No, I'm not saying every Jamaican kid is going on that path, but a large amount, and it's frightening.
The interesting thing is, what I mentioned about the young people is that they are the future, and if one is not careful, they can be culturalized into the tribalistic way as well. Because as the saying goes, my father and my mother always go this way and will always be like this. You know what I'm saying? It is to break that sort of cycle at the same time.
Yeah. But it's funny, a lot of the older type Jamaicans, it's not all of them adopted the tribal system. Because my father never voted. He saw it early. My father's a Maroon. Yeah, and when I was growing up in the inner city, I saw the game. They drop the gun off, and then after election, you have to turn it in. I'm telling you my experience. Yeah, because I went to Whitfield Primary School, and before I reached the school, I have to empty my pocket. So so that's why we have this perspective. Now, we want. The minute the parliament change, we want to have a Youth Employment Act. No, we're going to encourage the youth to get into agriculture, but not the way how they do it. Because what they do,
Yeah.
they just tell the kids, oh, you can go plant two coconut. No, no, no. You must have the community, the rural community set so that you have housing, you have recreation, you have clinics. Yeah, that is the human way of doing it. So you get the kids' attention and
Yes.
you guide them. Because the whole idea, is to let everybody succeed. So if you aim to that, for that maximum, even if one fail, then the majority is there to help him. But no, I was in Manchester. I'll show you an example. And the yam farmers, I was talking to them. No, I think it's only once a year they reap. So when the big corporate entity buy the yam from them, that money I have to serve them for the whole year. And then the farmer was telling me, you have to pay a school fee, you have to buy food. So what happens is that you have a perpetuation of abject poverty in the rural areas.
Yeah. I've got Michelle. I got Michelle who's online. Michelle, how are you? You want to say something to Mr. Daly?
Hi, how you doing
Hi.
tonight?
Yeah, how you doing?
This evening. I'm doing well.
Yeah,
Um, I hear everything that you're saying,
yeah.
but my thing is action speaks louder than words. And until like I hear all these new, what do you say, people that wants to lead or groups that want to lead, where's the programs? On the need to start put up some programs for the youth them, so that the youth them can start seeing that and see that this person or this group is doing this for the community, and stuff like that. Start, action speak louder than word, and that's how me see it. If you guys have it together, you guys are people that own business and do pull together and do programs for the youth them, so the youth them can start, you know, um, attracting to that and doing those kind of things. Then will get the people them for start wanting you guys to be in the community, and them will start say, okay, them can be leaders. That's how me see it.
Right. No,
I hear a
you're
lot of
right.
talk and I'm not seeing anything. We hear plenty talk, I'm not saying nothing. Nobody's
You
saying, okay, let me start doing this. Let me start this program for the youth them at this age to this age. Let me start the program from this age to this age for this set of young adults them or what have you. Action
yeah.
speaks louder than word to me.
Of course. No, I get your point. I live in Jamaica. And I tell you, um, we are not about talking. That is why it took us almost 2 3 years just to set up the movement. It took me 3 years just to open a bank account. You see, when you talk, when you're saying that, it gives me the impression that you have never experienced attempting to start a political movement in Jamaica. The system is designed just for two. So it will take you 5 years just to get all the legal papers them together. That's the real Jamaica. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, because that is my experience. I remember going to a radio station just to take out a ads, and they refused me. But because I know my civil right and my democratic rights, because you have to be informed, and
Yeah.
and you have to be educated, because that's one of the principles I adopt from Marcus Garvey. He say you must read 5 books a day. So, but you have to start somewhere. So we are starting. We started about 5 7 years ago. So we are starting something. But it's funny, in Jamaica, when you go anywhere, if you're not PMP and GLP, then the blacks is coming. Yeah, because I have I I have adopted couple charity here, but charities is like a tax write-off to a company, right? But I do it from my heart, and most Jamaicans do that. Them send barrel, them send everything.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something, miss. It's the same thing Marcus Garvey talk about. You have to attain power. And when you get the power now, then you deliver to your people.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. So we never wait, for people to contribute. No, we do it ourselves. Remember I told you we start out with 8. And most of them just keep talking, so we get rid of the talkers. Yeah, but we get rid of them democratically, so we have to vote them out. So now we are with 4 groups that is determined, dedicated, and risking lives. This is Jamaica. It's not easy. Look what they did to Garvey. So you can imagine what they're gonna do to us. But we are not scared.
Someone asked me a question on Instagram, TikTok. It says, how will a new political party be effective with a political system that was designed to fail?
Exactly. It was
Of
designed
course.
for them. Them design it,
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, they're the one who design it. So them design it fit for them for benefit from it, and
Yeah.
we fit for not benefit from it. So you guys are still operating underneath the same system.
So
All right,
as
let your caller
uh,
say.
yeah. So
Go
so
on,
as
caller.
yeah. So as I did strategic management at Harvard. So what you do to solve a problem, you have to know what the problem is. So we know what the Jamaican constitutional problem is. Is that them tribalize our political system and then make sure say it is established in the mind. In the mind. So our work will be harder. So we see an opening. We see an opening. When the Prime Minister came out with constitutional reform, and when we study it, we said, but wait, our people have a chance now to get power. Because without power, you can't get nothing done.
Mm.
See? Yeah, because behind both parties is the private sector, That's where the power is. You never see their faces, you never see them up front, but they are the power, them finance both parties.
Yes,
So
yes.
you have to understand the system to change it,
Mm.
And you have to be careful making mistakes. So you
I
have to
think that's the
build
way
up
it is
what.
in every country.
Yeah,
That's
I
the way
know,
it is
but
here in America too, as well. The
yeah,
private sector on it too.
but
Them
yeah,
write the
that but
policies, them too. And them
yeah,
write the policy,
yeah,
the same thing.
yeah. So we need to change all of that. So what me I say is that I know about America, but I want to concentrate on Jamaica. That
Yes,
is,
yes.
yeah, that is the love of my life. That is what made me who I am today. All right. So as a member of the inner city, so it give me the strength and the courage and to be fearless and to believe in the truth. So this movement is also about the truth because lies and corruption is taking over the world. Lies and corruption.
And
So we
misinformation.
want to
Mm.
we want to talk about the truth. The truth as reflected in some of these African countries that is getting rid of colonialism by kicking them out the country and taking control of them own natural resource. We have a lot of resource here, We have a lot of potential here.
Mm.
So we need power to utilize it.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right. Mm.
and as you can see, I'm not out there with a lot of talking. We're building from the root up. So we're
Yes.
putting we already finished the whole legal system because
Mm.
they make you set up everything legally and spend no money. You have to have auditor, you have to have all of this stuff. So we already done the first part. Now we're moving to the next stage. And all we're saying is that we want people to support us. Because if we get the support, then we can move faster and have our influence spread widely over Jamaica.
Well, what I've done, I have the information running across the screen. The
Yeah.
contact Unity Allowance, Jamaica Unity Alliance.org, telephone number 876-423-7999, 876-899-9574. So the number is running across there. So ladies and gentlemen, you can tune in and join. Is it online? Is it going to be online, or you going to be in person, Carlos?
No, we're gonna be live streaming. Yes, it will be.
Okay.
Yeah, we will be posting it.
Okay, right. You were posting it,
Yeah.
and then I'll be able to share that, yeah, because that information is not there now. You know. And Michelle, any last word to Carlos before he goes? Yeah.
Yeah, well, uh, um, I really thank you for bringing me on, and I'm just appealing to every Jamaican globally.
Mm,
Yeah, and I know they all love the country, and to join us in this movement so
yeah.
we can effect change. That's it, and I thank you all.
Yeah. And Michelle, in the last word to
As
Carlos.
long as it is to effect positive change, I'm all for it
Yes, yes.
for the country. You know.
Yeah.
Carlos. We have got to think widely and wide and big, and there's something happening in the UK. And I just saw a comment here that says, Carlos, there will only be two parties in Jamaica, America. That will not change. But you see, what has happened in the UK now is that the Conservative Party lost out a lot in the last election. Labour Party won, and then the Lib Dems also got 70 also seats. And guess what? Reform by Nigel Farage, that new party, is creating waves. See, so what I'm trying to say, one has got to wipe the mindset and to realize that we can do it. We can do it to break away from the two party syndrome, Carl. We can do it, man.
Yeah, I
We
know
can do
that.
it. You
No,
know?
I know that. Remember I
Yeah.
told you I'm a Garveyite, you know.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
have to be positive
Yeah,
and
man.
change. Yeah, change is constant. You can't stop it.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, Virgin, thank you so much. And have a good night there in Jamaica as well. Before and all the best tomorrow. So I look forward to getting the link. I know I got a show sometime tomorrow night, but I'll definitely try to tune in as well, Carlos, and to give the
Yeah,
support.
man. Yeah, man. You keep up the good work, man. You're doing a
Yes,
good job. Yeah, man.
yes, yes.
Spreading the truth.
Yeah,
All
man.
right. Thanks.
Yeah, man.
Thanks.
Respect.
Take
Thank you, sir.
care.
God
All right,
bless you.
cool.
Bye bye. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight and joining the show and joining the um, discussion about uh, the independence of the black mind. How relevant, and that's one of the key thing which I want to say: the independence of the black mind and relevant. And thank you for some of the comments which has been coming through, which I'll take the time to read some. Um, Do you have a plan to reform the education system? It is a tool that will create economic freedom. Okay, that is for Carlos. If you can pick up that message, I'm reading it out so you can hear. Any new political party must come to the people with a new economic and education philosophy. You know, as long as elections are run on a private funds, the elites will control the system. Of course, you're talking about the PSOJ oligarchs as well. And how will a new political party be effective with a political system that was designed to fail? Thank you for those questions. And if I go to Carlton Lovelace, you see, I agree with Michelle, and you say you're so right, Michelle. And there's only the two parties in Jamaica. And you mentioned something about, what am I talking about, George? Said none of his parties. What am I talking about, Mr. George? Mr. George said none of his party members are investigative, but now you see what happened yesterday. I want to see what he's going to say now. I assume that you're talking about Mr. Michael Phillips. And I just saw something a while ago. I don't know where it is. I just saw something a while ago on Twitter, X formerly. Nationwide News understand that the Corruption Prosecution Unit at the Integrity Commission has ruled that a criminal charge be laid against a senior legislator of the opposition People's National Party. So enough bangarang is going on in Jamaica as well at the same time. Let the chips fall. Ladies and gentlemen, you can contact the Unity Alliance there, Jamaica Unity Alliance, 876-423-7999, 876. And also any persons who are familiar with anyone who knows anything about the Jamaican teachers in the UK who are having a bad time in the sense of being paid less than their British counterpart, feel free to contact me. Jamaican teachers in London schools are being failed, union warns. Let's have a conversation. We're here. I'm a lobbyist, and we can try to see what we can do as much as possible and get the traction and the information going as well. And of course, for tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, Black History, where we are now, Evolution of Black History, Music, Film and Politics, Sunday the 30th of October 2024, 8 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Jamaica time. That is with Anthony Francis, the author of Think It, Plan It, Do It Now. And that's going to be tomorrow night at 8 p.m. And actually the following week, I'll say this as well. Let me just take this off. The following week, Sunday, I'll be having a discussion on the 20th of October at Black History about cataract operation. Cataract. You don't know, I had a cataract operation recently, and my good friend who is an ophthalmologist, Dr. David Burton, is going to join me one Sunday evening, next week Sunday, to talk about cataract and the impact within the Caribbean community as well. And on the 27th of October, I'll be having the Race Paradox, Why Organizations Fail on Race, with Dr. Carlton Brown and maybe Dr. Les Henry, socio strategist, and I think someone else. We're just going to firm that up. That's going to be happening as well. So yeah, so join me tomorrow night and have a great night. Thank you so much. And XCDL Nigel, have a plan? Yep. We have a plan. We all have a plan. Thank you very much. Have a good night, and may God bless you. And thank you for those who are joining me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Remember to like and subscribe to the show. And peace out. And God bless you.